Over there!
We can't let him get away!
Too late, fool! You will not escape! Us? What in the name of... Gary?
I'm sorry, okay? I hadn't prepped this part of the dungeon yet. I haven't had the time.
But you don't suffer from this, do you? For more than 2 years, you've helped us to enhance our tools, grow our map libraries, and given us a warm welcome in the community of map makers and game masters. We are honored to be part of this community, and all we can say is thank you.
Bring it on.
Hello and welcome everyone. It's Tuesday again, and this means it's time for another DungeonFog community stream. My name is Till, I am one of the founders of DungeonFog, and I'm here today to talk to you about recent news, recent updates, what has happened in the past week on DungeonFog and Deios, what is upcoming, and I'm here to answer questions if you have any. So please add a question in front of it, and I will hopefully find your question and answer it. With that said, let's dive into what has happened in the last week, and especially for the online Battlemap Editor. And then we will also talk about Deios a little bit for an upcoming patch that is coming tomorrow. And we will talk about GM nodes, the progress we're making, and the release date. All right. So let's start with what happened last week. I think I already can't remember what happened last week, but I think one of the most important things was that last week we have released a new, I think it was last week, we released a new patch for Deios that is now available on the self-updater. And we've also released a new asset pack for DungeonFog, which I think is quite amazing. And if you haven't been watching the stream from last week, our Welcome to the Mapness stream, then here you go. This is the map that we've built together last week with the new Cosmic Horror asset pack that has been released. I think it's Damien just says, we're talking about Deios without Guy. Blasphemy. Well, yes, because there is an update coming, and it's between everything. I'm taking the opportunity to talk a little bit about Deios today. But we will be wrapping up everything at the end of the month, at the end of July, with Guy as our beloved host. So coming back to the new asset pack, the new asset pack is called Cosmic Horror. You can find it in the asset section under Flavor, and there it is, Cosmic Horror, there it sits. It comes with altars, a lot of weird, almost body horror elements, tentacles, plants, portals, runes, even more tentacles, void pools, rifts. So a lot of stuff that you can use. You not only if you're playing Cthulhu games, but I already know in one of the maps that my players are going to encounter very soon how I can use this. And to be honest, we had a lot of fun mixing and combining existing assets. Like, for example, this one is not part of the new pack at all. It is basically, let me zoom in a little bit. It is basically a compilation and a mix of existing assets. So if I pull them apart, you will see that I've obviously used some dark shadows over it. Then we had the, sorry, let me place it here. Then we had the Kraken head, a statue, and the eyes. And by combining them, I've more or less accidentally created one of the coolest statues that I've ever seen, and it is definitely now in my prop template library. But you can see we have a lot of stuff like those weird cosmic plants, like as I said, it's a mix between cosmic horror and body horror. So there are those gaping mouths and the eyes that are protruding, these plants here. We have some more plants here. The roots actually are from a different set, but they work quite nicely. Yes, Varanasi, it fits perfect with the recent sci-fi pack, the Bounty Hunter pack that has been released. I think, did we use anything from the Bounty Hunter pack? No, I don't think so. Then we have those shadow tentacles here. Actually, there are those blooming, it's hard to see them at the moment. There are those blooming tentacle portal rifts that I've placed here. And then we have the portal and those physical tentacles coming out. And what I think is quite nice to create a sense of horror are those stone bodies that you can use to decorate your walls. There are those rune elements here, the altar, even more rune elements, even more bodies. So if you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend playing around with it. It is a lot of fun. And if you have the time, go back and watch the VOD. It was another perfect example of me starting with something where I don't really know if the result is going to look great at the end. And then the community throwing ideas at me. And the result was, I think I was really proud. I showed it to Guy today and I was like, oh, Guy, look what I did. I think it's a really amazing map. By the way, you can find the map itself. I've linked it in the map showcase in our Discord. So if you go to DungeonFog.com/Discord, you can join our Discord there. There is a big map showcase channel where we show maps. And since I'm extremely proud of this one, I've shared it with you so you can grab the map and by this, grab also the prop templates that are on there. Which brings me to the question that Damien is just asking on the YouTube chat, and that says, are shareable prop templates coming soon? If you put a big trademark around the soon, then yes, because I know that Herbert has already started working on it, and it is on the list for, I would say, late summer, because of the fact that we are already in July and August is going to be a month where a lot of the team members are taking a vacation. So I don't think that we will be very efficient in August. So I would say most likely late summer, early fall is when we will be able to implement the shareable prop templates. Yes, okay, so that was that. Again, you can find it under flavor, in the flavor assets, and it's called Cosmic Horror. So I think that was quite a nice new addition to our content subscription. And in terms of why we are at the online Battlemap Editor, we now have a release date. At least it's our first estimated release date. So please excuse if it is going to be shifted a few days. On July the 27th, we will be releasing the GM notes to you. So by the end of this week, we are finished with implementing late features, and then it will be 2 weeks of testing. And the good news about that is, let me quickly show that to you. The good news is, apart from some visual tweaks that will be happening, we're almost finished, which means that, for example, you can now connect your WorldAnvil account and add WorldAnvil stuff in there. We're going to show that in a minute. Because what I wanted to do with you is I wanted to, well, that's a very small image. show you a little bit how that works. So this is a little image that Tony has created for another interesting thing that's coming by the end of this week. It's a little gadget we did for Ginny D and her beloved Francis Summerpike. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, don't worry, there will be a big news announcement by the end of the week. And if you're curious of what I'm talking about, just go to YouTube. I highly recommend following Ginny D and her YouTube channel. And you might run across an NPC called Francis Summerpike that we owe something. So we owe Francis a little bit of something, and we said, okay, we're going to fulfill our promise, and that is happening this week. So just for the sake of showcasing, I have created a little WorldAnvil article around Francis. It's very rudimentary, but I wanted to show how that works, so I can drop the article here. Now I'm already logged in and I've connected my WorldAnvil account. Let's undo this for a second. If you're doing this for the first time, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see a little prompt that asks you to locate your API key from WorldAnvil and connect it to your DungeonFog account. There is a little direct link that brings you there. And once you've copied your API key, you can then connect, which means it's now connected to my account. And you can then either browse your worlds here. Sorry, that's a German one. Or you could go over to a specific article and you say, copy the article block. Go back here and cancel. That's not what I wanted to do. Paste it here, insert, and it will automatically pull everything from the WorldAnvil article into your notes. And I think this is quite helpful if you have a lot of lore on WorldAnvil and you would like to create probably something like an info block that you want to inject into your map notes here. So Andy is currently working on the finishing touches. There are still a few things that we need from WorldAnvil to get the API working as intended, but I'm very confident that within the next 2 weeks that will be finished. And then we heavily rely on your feedback and your requests on improving the system here and there. So let me just quickly do this. Let's drag. Oh my God, poor Francis. That's not what I wanted to do. Something like that. Let's drag it in here. That works too. And I think I should be, this is still not looking good. Should be able to drop a stat block in here. Now it's getting broken a lot. So I probably should have done a little bit more layout on my end in the first part. But let's create a next page and let's add another. I think that one was an article that Lasses shared with me. So I'm going to copy the article block because I wanted to show you that we're actually putting a lot of effort into making sure that when you paste an article block, it tries its best to break it down to separate pages so you don't get overlapping pages. So the information is already taken and is being split into separate text fields. So you could move them around, delete them, edit them. They're all editable, but they're also broken down per page. This is actually a proof, because Damien just said, this excites me as a proof of concept for when Deios is out. This is what we internally say is our first step, because by the time we are in Deios at a point where we can work on the GM nodes in Deios, I think the GM nodes on the online Battlemap Editor have vastly grown and have been optimized. So this is our playground learning for the next year, where we will improve the GM nodes to a point where they work exactly as we want them for Deios as well. Which, by the way, reminds me that if you are a programmer who's very skilled in JavaScript libraries, who might know the way around, I forgot the name, Grapes.js, Ember.js, stuff like that, we are going to open a position somewhere in July. So the position is going to be like the job offer is going to be posted in July. The position itself will take place starting in September, where we are looking for an additional programmer who's going to help us expand and work on the GM nodes specifically. So if you're interested, keep your eye out for our job listing on the DungeonFog website. Yes, so the next 2 weeks will be mainly about tweaking, fixing, optimizing GM nodes, and then we will release the GM nodes to you. And we will take a break from the GM nodes because we're all in the team are desperate waiting for finishing or continuing with the Walls and Paths tool. And we have been working a lot longer than we expected on the GM nodes because we got carried away and we were so excited of what we can do with the GM nodes, but we're not remotely finished with the GM nodes. However, whatever comes, whatever feedback you're sending us, whatever is still on our wish list for the GM nodes is something that the new person joining us will pick off in September. Andy will also take a break in August, but once he's back, he will start working on the Walls and Paths tool. Until then, it will be fixing, optimizing, tweaking. I know there are a few things that we need to optimize internally, but technically speaking, the GM nodes will be available for you around the end of July. And over August, we will collect your feedback and we will condense a whole task list and a whole package of improvements around the GM nodes, specifically to our new developer joining us, who will take all those tasks then in September. Okay. Circling to the next thing. Yes, I've talked about Ginny. I've talked about, well, there's going to be a new asset pack. I'm not going to spoil what it is, but I think you're going to like it. It is also one of the most requested asset packs from the past. Yeah, from the wish lists. So I think you will be happy with the new asset pack being released in July. And now let's switch to something completely different. Let's switch to 100 rocks with slight variations. Well, I'm pretty sure there will be rocks part of the asset pack. So let's talk about Deios, because tomorrow there is going to be, I think, a very important patch to Deios coming out. It will not only address a lot of undo redo improvements based on the feedback that we have collected over the week. So undo redo will be improved. We're defining more detailed undo redo stacks. We found a few loopholes or bugs that were with the undo redo. That is being closed with the patch tomorrow. But most importantly, we have now implemented our what is called a texture or sprite atlas. And that is the groundworks for having the line art and the colors for each asset worked back in properly. It is also it's laying the groundwork for sharing maps, because in the current build that you're having at the moment, when you share a map with a friend, the IDs are unrelated. So it might be that you open a map and you see completely different assets than the original author has created, because the map IDs weren't persistent over multiple systems. So we fixed that, which means the Sprite Atlas is now a solid foundation that can be written to, which means that if you import assets, they will be written to the Sprite Atlas. If you add textures, they will be written to the Sprite Atlas. So this is a very important step forward, especially now that we're making good progress with the UI. And with the new UI, we want to introduce a lot of features that again address textures and props. However, and that is important, guys, this means that we have to deprecate maps. So if you are installing the new patch tomorrow, all the maps that you have had before will not be openable anymore. So please go out there. If you like the maps that you've created, keep in mind it's technical alphas. Things like that can happen, but they should happen with a little early warning. And that is my early warning. Go and save your maps, which means export the images so you can reuse them probably as a blueprint later. Another major benefit of the Sprite Atlas is that it will allow us, now that the Sprite Atlas is being implemented tomorrow, it will allow us to create a map version manager, which means that hopefully the next thing that we're going to roll out in one of the next patches is a tool, like in the Deios application, is a tool that allows you to take all the maps and upgrade them to newer versions, so you don't have to deal with deprecated maps anymore. But again, for the patch tomorrow, this is not there yet. The Sprite Atlas is our groundworks to create that, which means that the second the self-updater runs and installs the new version, all your maps, all your previous maps will be deprecated and you cannot edit them anymore. So please, please, please save them, export them before you run the updater, because afterwards will be too late. Yes, Deios patch is coming tomorrow. I think it's going to be somewhere around 12 p.m. UTC. Yes, I think so. So you will, as always, if you follow us on Discord, if you follow us on social media, you will get the notification once the patch has hit the server and you can install it, and the self-updater will install it. But apart from that, I think I have covered everything so far. And yeah, keep in mind there is going to be there are going to be 2 streams this week. It's going to be at, my math is failing me. So it's 7 p.m. GMT plus 2, whatever that is. I think it's 5 p.m. UTC. I will be again guest in an Orkenspalter stream where we are continuing our Kill Your Nida campaign. And afterwards, it's going to be a welcome to the Mapness stream, and we will be, I have no idea what we're going to do, but we will going to create another map. Maybe, I don't know, maybe we're going to create a little map maker's shop for Francis Summerpike, or maybe we will be just creating something else. Hello, Illyrian. Hi. We will be looking at 101 users for 100 new rocks. Yeah, so that is what's going on in the stream sphere. So Tuesday, as always, we are already having our community stream. Thursday is going to be our welcome to the Mapness stream, and I hope we will build another amazing map together on Thursday. And an hour before the stream, before my stream starts, I'm guest at Orkenspalter TV, and we will be continuing to write and build our Kill You Neither campaign. Guys, I'm looking at my schedule, and I think I've tackled everything. So unless you don't have any questions that you want to throw at me right now, we're done. That's our community update for this week. I'm really excited to see how. So next week we will definitely take another look at the GM nodes. And yeah, I can't wait to release them. So mark the 27th. Hopefully this is, if nothing completely groundbreaking comes in between, this is when we will release the new GM nodes to you. And yeah, and keep an eye out for things happening on the website this week, because Francis Summer Pike will get a little gift from us. Thank you, Varanasi. Thank you. Varanasi says, can't wait for the GM nodes. You guys have been working hard, and it'll be great to see that it all comes to fruition. Yes, I'm really proud of the new system, and I can't wait to see what you guys are doing with it. And we already know a lot of feedback so there's a lot of anticipation for feedback that is coming back at us. So let me tell you, there is a long list of things that we already know we want to do, but we can't just spend the rest of the year, although we would love to, we can't just spend the rest of the year blocking Andy with doing GM nodes. So we said, okay, this is a good point to release, and everything else will then follow in September. It's just Microsoft Words with maps. Yeah, kinda, but no, there's a lot of cool stuff that Microsoft can't do. I'm also, Varanasi says, I'm also really garbage at making homebrew look nice, so I'm happy to have DungeonFog. Yes, yes, I think especially with those styles that you can apply. I think, oh, I'm talking and clicking, but you don't see it. So with those styles being applicable, I think it's going to be an amazing little tool to style PDFs or your notes by any means. And again, it's the first implementation, which means I'm pretty sure we get a lot of feedback from you, and we're happily waiting for that. And we will then take that and implement it, because having someone else joining Andy in this work in September will mean that we can do both. We can work on the editor, and we can work on all the stuff that you are most likely going to request for the GM nodes. Okay, everyone. I say, as always, thank you very much for attending. Thank you for your questions. If you have more, if you missed to ask a question right now, join us at dungeonfog.com/discord. Hop in our Discord. We will see each other on Tuesday when we are going into a new Mapness. And until then, I say good day, good afternoon, good evening, and happy map making. See y'all. Bye.